Unreal Engine 4, Blade and Soul, improved performance, new class, mythical dungeon, break system. Welcome back to another video on Blade and Soul. Today we're going to talk about Blade and Soul Korea, the recent update of June 30th. So it was like 4 days ago for me right now, and when you will be watching this video, probably it will be 5 days or more. So what we have seen as improvement in FPS. So it has been patched. The game has been patched to a degree where it actually is more playable for people and more enjoyable, of course. Less stutters, though there are still stutters for some players. Other players don't notice them at all. It's very smooth. Ping is very low, and of course FPS. So if you check out Unreal Engine 4 compared to Unreal Engine 3, there has been a significant improvement. So if you run an Unreal Engine 3 with your i9-9900KF RTX 2080 Ti, then you would get about, let's say, 100 to 120 FPS, and when you went to Unreal Engine 4, you will get 110 to 120 if it's locked on 120 FPS, that is. So that's not a big change. But here's the kicker. When doing dungeons, I think, because I cannot read Korean, I'm just reading from a screen right now. I will show it on the screen as well. Right now I have not popped it open for you, but I will edit it in. There is 15 to 40 FPS when the players are on doing a dungeon. So let's say a 6-member dungeon you're doing, you have all players visible. In Unreal Engine 3 you would have 15 to 40 FPS with those specifications, which is pretty bad. Unreal Engine 4, however, will go from 40 to 60 FPS. So there's anywhere between 40 and 60 you will get. So it's not great, but it's definitely a big improvement compared to Unreal Engine 3. And there, when you Control F, so hide all other players when doing a dungeon, you will be getting 40 to 60 FPS in Unreal Engine 3, and in Unreal Engine 4 you will be getting a staggering 60 to 80 FPS. So yes, it's not amazing, but on Blade and Soul regards, it's pretty good. It's actually pretty fucking good, because now you can be playing the game very well, even when not hiding any players at all. This is significant improvements in my opinion, and I think it will make the game much better, especially since stutters are not really that big of a deal anymore, except for a few players. I don't know why, but it still happens. But for most players it is very good, very smooth, and a lot less ping, so it is more responsive to your inputs. So that is great actually. Other than that, we have Mythical Dungeons, and well, actually right now one. The second one will be patched in later. I don't know when, but that's what I learned as of recently. So the first Mythical Dungeon, what is it like? I haven't played it, of course. I've seen people play it and I've read some stuff about it. So what I know about is that it has about 61 plus, I think 65 stages of the same dungeon, and at a certain stage level some mechanics would change, or debuffs would change according to your stage level. Let's say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 and 60, and then 65 maybe as well. So it will increase in difficulty. Right now in Korea they've only been able to defeat or go up to stage 55, so 65 has not been reached yet, and you will be able to get good accessories, better than we currently can get from dungeons in Europe and America. So that's very promising and interesting, and it looks really nice if you ask me. The dungeon looks amazing, nice art, good bosses, and seems like fun. It's kind of like a hard mode, because you cannot play with 6 members but 4 members, and if you're an OG player like I am myself, in 2016, when the game released for first, in the first year, of course, that's 2016 for us in Europe and North America, you could play a hard mode of dungeons, and the hard mode was not 6 members and then more difficult dungeons, but the difficulty went up, obviously, so you had to do mechanics, otherwise you would wipe instantly. But you will be playing with 4 members, and you won't be able to see the AoE markers, so you need to read the boss when fighting him. I don't know how it is right now in hard mode, but it is indeed 4 players instead of 6, which is currently the case for us. So that's a little bit more like the OG hard mode about doing a mythical dungeon, and it seems very interesting and promising because you can get items, accessories, and level it. So that's about the items, accessories, that is. When you level it, there's an RNG chance of actually failing the upgrade. When failing the upgrade, however, you will not break your item, so you'll just stay on the level it is right now. So the stage, let's say stage 5, and you want to go to stage 6, it fails, you'll stay at stage 5 and you can later upgrade to stage 6 again. So it is RNG based, yes, but honestly I don't think that's a big of a deal. It seems like a really fun way to gain a lot of power relatively soon, relatively quick, and it's very good for low level players as high level players, because the point of entry is pretty low to start with the first stage of this mythical dungeon. So I'm really glad we get that, and I actually think we need to see more of this. I don't know if everyone is agreeing with me regarding that, but that's what I think. I think it's a good step of NCSoft and blade&soul to actually do this, to implement this in the game, to make it more easy for players who are new to actually catch up to the high level players, and for the high level players to actually become even stronger. So it's a win-win situation in my opinion, and especially if you don't want to grind normal dungeons and just want to do something a little bit different. And I think this is a really good step in the right direction. Next up, the dual blade. It's really weird to not say dual blade blade master for me, but it has been released, as the name is, dual blade in Europe and North America as well. So I've seen some of the gameplay and it looks much better than the trailer showed. So we had a CGI trailer which was really cool, I really liked it and I was excited to see it. And then we had another trailer where you could see some in-game combat, and it looked nice, but it wasn't something to write home about. But when I saw people play it on Korea, it looked so much better. So there's 2 specs. Right now I cannot remember the name, something like energy of the blade, and the other one is about nearing life and death situations, because there is an ability where you lose a lot of health but have more movement, more abilities. I don't know what it exactly is. So the first spec, you will have 3 stances, and the stances are your swords ahead of you, 1 sword down, 1 sword ahead of you, going forward. I mean, it's a little bit weird. And also the 3rd stance, your both swords turning back. So that's your stances. And then depending on your stance, you have certain specific abilities, but in general most abilities are very similar to your previous stance. So Blade Masters has it as well, but it's different. But I think the first spec is really cool. You have a lot of mobility, it seems, and you have kind of a seismic attack. It's a really interesting attack because your screen will be shaking and morphing all the way, but hitting your opponents, which is really weird to see, but also seems pretty cool, seems pretty strong. I don't know how strong it is though, so I cannot actually say anything about that. Then you have the 2nd spec, and to me it feels more like a Warden for some reason. It felt a little bit more slow but powerful and less oriented to mobility, but I'm not really sure whether that is true or not, because I saw most people, or at least the streamers I watched, play mostly the first spec. So there's that. And that's pretty much it for now for the news on blade&soul. There has been also the break mechanic introduced and apparently it works with one ability per class to actually charge the break gauge in the Mythical Dungeon and everywhere else. I don't know if it's implemented on every single dungeon, but in the Mythical Dungeon it has been, of course. So there's that. I don't know whether it is actually one skill per class or not, but I'm definitely looking forward to actually trying it out myself and seeing whether I like it, whether I don't like it. But so far I've seen it. I think it's pretty cool, but I haven't seen anyone actually utilizing it because they were able to DPS the Mythical Dungeon so good that the gauge wasn't even filled halfway before they actually killed the boss. So we haven't been able to see how it really works, but I'm definitely looking forward to see what it will be like and if it's difficult to fill the gauge or not. I've been saying gauge, it's gauge, right? Sorry, my bad. I'm not English, so I'm just reading things the way I think I should read them, but I think it's gauge. Also, right now I remember it, the class change system will be introduced. They just delayed it to September, so I think they're changing some things, or there were some bugs they had to fix and could not implement it right now. So we'll be getting it September, at least in Korea, so I don't know whether we will be getting it in September as well. I don't think so. I think more like November or December, but hopefully very soon. So when the Unreal Engine 4 releases with the class and the changes of the classes, we'll be able to change our class when we want to. Anyways, hope you liked it and see you in the next one. Peace.